Yeah, I think I'm back. When I take my pain pills, one pill is supposed to last 6 hours, and it's only 10 milligrams. Well, I cut the damn thing in half. I'm going to take 5 milligrams. And after 6 hours, I'm fine. But the seventh hour, I'm still metabolizing it, and it hits me. And I had a sinking spell a while ago, and I'm much better right now. All I did was walk down the hall, talk to Woodward a few minutes. That changes your perspective right there to talk to Woodward. But anyway, I'm better. So let's go ahead and finish this sucker right here. Whatever I do now, we're going to call it quits on chapter 21. Okay, we're still doing blood volume. Describe the role of ADH, EPO, A, and F on blood volume right here. All right. Now let's take a look at 21-17, figure 21-17. I may put something up here on the board. I may just walk us through this table, this chart, this figure, this diagram, whatever the hell that it is. All right. Let's start at the very top right here. Homeostasis is disturbed. It's either going to be low blood volume or high blood volume, hypertension or hypotension right here. This one selects homeostasis is disturbed, blood pressure and blood volume fall. So here we are at, I don't have a good number for you for hypotension. Probably less than 100, less than 90, maybe certainly less than 80 on the systole. So let's say the blood pressure falls, all right? Now, blood pressure and blood volume fall, all right? Not the heart rate itself. Heart rate's all right. Heart rate will speed up to try to compensate for tissue perfusion. But for some reason, maybe a hemorrhage. And we got a question there on hemorrhage also. So the blood volume goes down. We have a short term and a long term. The short term right here, let's just take a look at the short term right here. All we're going to do is explain this chart right here. Sympathetic activation released, adrenaline released. Sympathetic activation is going to cause constriction right here that we have right here. Increased cardiac output and peripheral vasoconstriction to maintain tissue perfusion. Remember, the objective of any correction is to maintain tissue perfusion. If you don't maintain tissue perfusion, you're screwed. You really, really are, okay? So the heart rate is going to go up. The vasoconstriction is going to go down so that the capacitance, the amount of blood in a vessel right here is going to be decreased right here. So you keep this stuff circulating right here. Following that on around right here, blood pressure and volume are going to be restored. And this is just this is a neural reflex right here. Now the long term is an endocrine reflex. This may take a week or two, all right? Now one of them is going to be the role of ADH, the antidiuretic hormone, is going to be released, all right? So low blood volume releases ADH. ADH decreases loss of body fluid right there, which maintains blood volume, which maintains tissue perfusion. All right. Now let's take a look at the role of renin. Renin comes from the kidney itself. Renin converts, now I will expect this in your answer, I really will. Renin converts angiotensinogen 1, which is normally in circulation as an inactive hormone, to A1. A1 is converted to A2 by ACE in the lungs. A1, A2, ACE, angiotensin converting enzyme to A2. Now what the hell does A2 do? A2, believe it or not, targets the adrenal cortex to release aldosterone. Well, what does aldosterone do? It causes sodium retention, which reduces, well, it's going to increase blood volume. It's going to increase the amount of sodium in the blood. Hypernatremia. So aldosterone is going to cause hypernatremia, which maintains sodium, which is going to attract body fluid into the blood vessel right there, and going to increase the blood volume to restore the blood volume to maintain tissue perfusion. So let's take a look at that right there. So release angiotensin 2 right here, activation. I don't worry about EPO right here. Antidiuretic hormone, we've already talked about that. Aldosterone secreted right here. Increase in blood volume right here. Blood pressure and volume restored right here. So renin is linked to aldosterone. That's the link I want right there. And what does aldosterone do? It's sodium retention. Okay? EPO. Now, this may take 2 weeks right here for the increased EPO from the kidney to target the bone marrow to produce more red blood cells right here, probably because of hemorrhage, probably because of a blood loss right there. The EPO is going to stimulate the increase in red blood cell production right there, which is going to maintain blood volume, et cetera, et cetera. All right, now that's hypertension. Let's take a look down at the bottom right here, hypotension. I'm sorry. That's hypotension that we just talked about. Sorry. Hypertension right here. Well, what the hell can we do with hypertension right here? With higher than normal blood pressure values. Remember, hypertension is defined as 140, a systole of 140. And let me back up. A resting systole. Resting, you got to be sitting down for 3 minutes and have a resting systole of 140 or greater to be diagnosed with hypertension right there. You walk in, sit down, and your blood pressure will be elevated. Oh, you got hypertension. Well, I haven't been sitting for 3 minutes. Keep the 3-minute mark in mind because it really is important. And don't cross your legs when you get your blood pressure checked because that'll elevate your blood pressure. Remember that also. A little hint. Okay, so here we have hypertension. Well, we don't want EPO released. We don't want renin released right here. We want to get rid of the sodium. Let's take a look at the chart right here. Homeostasis disturbed, rising blood pressure and volume right there. Natriuretic peptides released by the heart. ANF or ANP, atria natriuretic peptides, atria natriuretic hormones. ANH or ANP right here is going to decrease the sodium in the blood. It's going to cause sodium excretion by the kidney. So, brain fart. ANF or ANP right here, sorry, work opposite from angiotensin from aldosterone, okay? They work opposite from aldosterone right here. ANF is going to get rid of sodium, aldosterone is going to retain sodium. Total opposite effects right here. Followed on increased sodium urine loss right here, increased water loss in the urine right there. Combined effects is going to reduce the blood volume and lower your blood pressure. All right? That's what I want to know that. Describe the relative changes in blood distribution during exercise. Table 21-2. Just give me, well, let's take a look at a couple things right here, okay? Relative effect right here. We have rest and strenuous exercise. Forget the light exercise. From rest to strenuous exercise, now these are blood flow to various organs right here. You would expect the blood flow to increase in the skeletal muscles. Blood flow increases to the skeletal muscles about 10 times, okay? So where's the blood volume come from? It's going to come from the digestive tract. Skip down here to the abdominal viscera right here. Abdominal viscera, that's the gut. Blood flow is decreased. Blood flow is decreased through vasoconstriction. Vasoconstriction. It's increased through vasodilation. It's decreased through vasoconstriction, okay? So tell me what happens to the brain. Blood flow, no change during exercise. So let's take a look again at skeletal muscles. Take a look at heart, take a look at brain, and take a look at the abdominal viscera. Give me those four right there. Now the next one right here, describe the effects of training on cardiovascular performance. Training, the next page right here. Let's take a look at the non-athlete at rest and the trained athlete at rest. Okay, and somewhere in there is me. All right, I don't worry about it. Okay, I don't worry about, let's take a look at the stroke volume. Remember what stroke volume is heart rate times something. Cardiac output, sorry, cardiac output, stroke volume times, yeah, well, forget that. The stroke volume right here, you would expect it to increase, and it increases between the non-athlete at rest and the trained athlete. So the stroke volume is going to increase right here. The heart rate itself right here is going to go down. The heart rate in a trained athlete is going to go down. Okay, that's important right there. That's important right there, okay? Blood pressure right here is going to be the same. So three components right here, three comparisons between a trained athlete and an athlete right here. The three are, the stroke volume is going to go up, the heart rate is going to go down, the BP is going to be the same. That's what the focus I want you to have right there. Okay? Turn the page right here, then we'll be home free. Cardiovascular response to hemorrhage and blood loss right here. Now, I want to take a look at the effect on hemorrhage, short-term or long-term. What? Short-term versus long-term as far as hemorrhage. You got a wound, hemorrhage and blood loss, okay? Okay, short-term, local. Short-term being local. Short-term being local, okay? Maybe I better put local. Local, I mean, not short-term, but local. In the damaged area itself right here, you're going to get vasoconstriction. In the extreme, right at the very damage itself, you're going to get vasoconstriction to decrease the amount of blood. Vasoconstriction, okay? And then you're going to get activation of phagocytic cells, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, now that's what's going to happen in the short term, very localized, very localized. And I don't mean short term versus long term right there, but, and I shouldn't emphasize short term, okay, but very localized right there. You're going to get vasoconstriction to decrease the blood. Now shortly thereafter, you're going to get vasodilation to increase the blood flow for tissue repair. But short term, immediately, localized, immediate response is vasoconstriction. And after about 12 hours, you're going to get vasodilation. After about 12 hours, you're going to get vasodilation. And 12 hours is just a number, all right? After a short term, for the short term, you get vasodilation. You'll figure it out. Vasoconstriction, then vasodilation. Vasodilation. Now, systemically right here, I damaged my arm. I cut my arm. All right? I know right near the cut, immediately, I'm going to get vasoconstriction to reduce the blood volume loss. Then I'm going to get vasodilation short term after that for tissue repair. But systemically, what's going to happen right here? Now, I'm going to put up here systemic, local versus systemic. Now, forget the damaged area. How about the rest of the body? How about the kidney? How about the brain itself? I've got to maintain tissue perfusion. I got to maintain tissue perfusion. Here I have lost blood. Here I've lost blood right here. I'm going to have venoconstriction initially. Venoconstriction. Venoconstriction, and review for me the definition of venoconstriction, which veins are we talking about right here, to maintain what? Venoconstriction is going to maintain what? Cardiac output.